President Donald Trump has fired one of the most senior officials at the US Department of Labour just hours after the release of data which showed weaker than expected employment growth. He accused Erika McEntarfer, the Commissioner of the Bureau of Labour Statistics, of rigging yesterday's jobs figures to make the Republicans and him look bad.
US stock markets were rattled yesterday as President Trump pressed ahead with his tariff plans. The news released by the US Bureau of Labour Statistics then added to the economic pessimism. It showed that the US economy had added just 73,000 jobs in July, far below expected forecasts. Employment growth in May and June were also sharply revised downwards. President Trump immediately took to social media to voice his displeasure, announcing that he was firing the woman who'd released the new data, Commissioner Erika McEntarfer. He described her as a Biden political appointee and later insisted that the jobs numbers had been rigged.
Why did you fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics?
Because I think her numbers were wrong, just like I thought her numbers were wrong before the election. Days before the election, she came out with these beautiful numbers for Kamala, I guess Biden/Kamala, and she came out with these beautiful numbers trying to get somebody else elected. Then right after the election, I think on the 15th, November 15th, she had an $800,000 or $900,000 massive reduction. Said she made a mistake.
Former officials said the US Labour Department regularly and routinely revises economic data. The firing has sparked concerns over the politicising of economic information in the United States, with the Democratic leader Chuck Schumer accusing President Trump of shooting the messenger. Joan O'Sullivan, RT News.
Well, for more on this, we're joined now from Chicago by John Nichols, National Affairs Correspondent at The Nation. John, thank you for joining us this evening. What's the reaction there to this latest move by President Trump, and what impact will it have on the US economy?
The reaction is very bad and very critical. Obviously, we have a deep partisan divide in the United States, so Democrats are much more outspoken about it. But even Republicans that you talk to behind the scenes are worried about this because the Bureau of Labor Statistics has been pretty much the gold standard for numbers as regards jobs and a lot of the economy in the U.S. And to simply fire someone because you got a report you didn't like it sends shockwaves through not just the people who follow jobs issues, but in general, people who follow the economy because of a concern that the stats coming out of the U.S. government might become so politicized that they are unreliable.
And is it likely to have any effect on Donald Trump's support there? There are many people who say this has been a very successful week for him.
Look, with Donald Trump, there is so much thrown out every week that you can find your successful elements and your very unsuccessful elements. What I will tell you, though, is that if you look overall, a big part of Donald Trump's strength is his image as someone who knows how to handle the economy, who knows how to make the economy better. When that is not happening, when job growth is stalling, when there's uncertainty about tariffs and things like that, that's not a good week for him. That's ultimately a very challenging week. That's why he fired this individual. But it's also why you saw a lot of instability on the stock market. And I do think that we're entering into what's probably going to be a very challenging time for the president, especially as regards what, again, has historically been his strength. And that is the image as someone who knows how to handle the economy.
John Nichols at The Nation in Chicago, thank you for joining us this evening.
It's a pleasure.